Hi, this is RJ, and this is my YouTube channel. RJ is still running. And today I want to talk to you about running shoes and the experience that I've had running over the many years that I've been doing this. I started to get real serious around 2003. I've been running before that, but that was when I started to get serious about marathon running. And so I ran a couple of marathons. I was running before that, but I wasn't really in that great a shape. I would on and off, do a couple of 5Ks here and there, 10K. But probably like you, it kind of hurt. So I ran a couple of marathons, and then I got too busy in my personal life, and I scaled it back to half marathons. Still did the same kind of running, but half marathons now. So from about 2003 all the way up to 2023, I basically ran in one type of shoe. It was the Asics Gel-Nimbus. And I don't know exactly what version I started with, but it was in the teens somewhere. But today I'm wearing my Gel-Nimbus, let's see what these, Gel-Nimbus 24s. You can see they say Gel-Nimbus 20, like that, Gel-Nimbus 24. So I'm running in the gel, I'm not running in these. I'm not running in these shoes. These are my almost yard shoes now. They're the ones I wear around the house and when I do work around the garage and that kind of thing. And when I go out walking my dogs, this is the pair of shoes that I wear. They're Gel-Nimbus 24s. So the progression is probably just like you go from running shoes to walking shoes to garage shoes to almost to the garbage can, then I would say. When they get so bad, they got holes in them, and you can see the sole on these are all worn down and whatever. So anyway, I use these for walking around now. And I don't know, they're probably about 3-4 years old now. The next pair of shoes that I got, I got to take this one back off again. The next pair of shoes I got is the Gel-Nimbus 25s. And these shoes, this is when they started to change the stack height. And if you notice, you can see the Gel-Nimbus 24 compared to the Gel-Nimbus 25 has a pretty substantial difference in stack height. So keep that in mind. I'm going to put my shoe back on. You're going to have to hang in there with me because I need my shoe. So now I got the Gel-Nimbus 24. Now the next version up, and I ran in all these. I don't run in the 24s anymore. You can see what I do. I'm a heel striker. You can see I've worn away the heel pretty well on that. These are now the Gel-Nimbus. These are FF Blast Plus, and these are the Gel-Nimbus 26s. So you can see, and you can see the stack height on these now. So they're even higher than the Gel-Nimbus 24s, and these are probably 2 to 3 years old, I would think. So the Gel-Nimbus 26s are actually getting to the stack height of today's shoes. All right. So now this is the Gel-Nimbus 27. So that's the Gel-Nimbus 27. And you can see that the stack height on the Gel-Nimbus 27 is about the same height as the Gel-Nimbus 26. And these shoes are my current easy run shoes. So when I want to go out zone 2, when I want to go out on a zone 2, I use these shoes to run. And they used to be my long easy run zone 2 shoes, my long run shoes, but I've retired those, and I'm going to tell you which ones I've gone to, and I'm hoping they're going to work for me pretty well. But anyway, these are great shoes. And let me tell you something about the Gel-Nimbus shoes. Okay, if you're a heavier runner and you need stability, this is a great shoe for you. It's heavier. The weight, I write the weight on all my shoes, and you can barely see it anymore, but it's 10.6 ounces. So in a size 9, I'm size 9, so this is 10.6 ounces in a size 9. But these are great if you're heavier and you need stability. They got the width on them is really good. I'm going to show you that in just a second. In fact, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to see if I can pause this. Okay, I'm back, and this is the Gel-Nimbus 27. I want you to look at the heel difference here, okay? This is the Asics Metaspeed, Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris. These are my 5K race shoes, and you can see these are 6.4 ounces, 10.6 ounces. I would never use these for a long run. These are my 5K race shoes because they force you to land on your midfoot to front foot. We're going to talk about these when I get into the race shoes, but you can see the difference. The stack height is actually not that much different, but you can see the difference in heel. So these are really stable, really wide. If you're a heel striker, they're great for that. So anyway, keep that in mind. I'm going to pause this. So I'm back now, and the point of the Gel-Nimbus is to let you know that that's what I've been running in all the way from like 2003 all the way up to 2023. In 2023, I started to get really into running shoes because they had changed so much, and now we had different uses for different shoes, and that's what I'm going to get into next. Okay, let's talk about from 2003 forward, and I want to get into rotation. Shoe rotation. So I started watching all these YouTube videos. There's a bunch of guys out there that do shoe reviews. I'm not one of those guys, but I watched lots and lots of videos, and I love Asics. I run an Asics, so I just kind of stuck with the Asics brand. And you already know about my Asics 27s. They're these here, and these are my easy run shoes. I use them for when I want to go out for a zone 2 run, and I want to take it easy, and I want to run nice and easy, and then also for my long runs, when I get way up in miles, I used to use these, and I've gone to a different shoe. I'm going to show you that, but that's going to be way at the very end of this video. But anyway, this is the Gel-Nimbus 27, heavy shoe, good for zone 2 running, great stability, wide heel if you're a heel striker, nice flat surface, easy to land, and have a stable surface. So that's that one. This shoe here is awesome. It's a lot lighter. Let me see. 8.6 ounces. Can you see that? I don't know. Yeah, 8.6 ounces. So this is 2 ounces less than the Gel-Nimbus 27. This is the Novablast 5. Now they got Novablast 6, but these are the Novablast 5 shoes. I love these shoes. They are great all-around shoes. I could do a long run in these. I could do a easy zone 2 run in these. I could do a tempo run in these. I can do an interval run in these. You can see that they've got a pretty good base on them. You know, so they're stable, and they're bouncier. They're 2 ounces lighter than the 27. That's the Novablast 5. They're bouncier. They seem to get up and want to go. So this is a great all-around shoe. If I were to recommend one shoe to people that were that aren't on the heavier side, I would recommend the Novablast 5. I haven't tried the Novablast 6 yet. It's out, but Novablast 5, one of the all-around best shoes out there on the market right now. So, at the same time that I bought the Novablast 5, I'd heard about the Superblast 2. And this shoe is about the same weight, 8.6 ounces, as the Novablast 5. So this one's a Superblast 2. Another great shoe. Very comparable to the Novablast in heel width and all that. But the thing about it is I'm a little disappointed in this shoe. It's a lot more expensive than the Novablast 5, and if you notice here, it really got torn up on the heel. In fact, the heel of the other one is torn up too. I don't know what's going on with these shoes, and they also seem a little flatter to me, so I'm not going to buy the Superblast again. Even the Superblast 3, I've heard it's a different kind of a run, but I'm not going to go with that one. I think if I go with another type, either Superblast or Novablast, it's going to be the Novablast 6, not the Superblast 3. Now, what is one of the best shoes that competes with the Novablast 5? So here's the Novablast 5, and the one that I bought, I deviated out of the Asics brand, and I went with what you see over here, and Everybody knows what this shoe is if you're in the running world. It's the EVO SL, the Adidas EVO SL. And the EVO SL, you can see, is not as wide as the Novablast, so it's not quite as stable and in the heel if you're a heel striker. But this one has more bounce than this one. The Adidas EVO SL is my favorite tempo and interval shoe. When I want to go out there and I want to run a tempo or an interval, I pick this shoe. Sometimes I pick this shoe, but this is when I'm not really sure how I'm feeling, is if I want to do a zone 2 run or if I want to get up and going. You know how it is when you get running, all of a sudden you're out there and you go, wow, I feel great, I want to go. This shoe can do it. But this shoe does it really, really well. And I love this shoe. The weight, let's see, 7.8. So it beats the Novablast by just a little bit. So that's my rotation. Here we go. So, easy run. Asics Gel-Nimbus 27. Tempo run, easy run, long run, interval run, Novablast 5, all-round shoe. Superblast 2. It can do longer runs. It can get up and go. It's made for speed, but I'm not a fan of this shoe. I'll just say it that way. I'm just not a fan of this shoe. This shoe, EVO SL, tempo run, interval run. It can do zone 2 runs, it can do long runs, but if I was going to buy a shoe for a specific purpose, I would buy this shoe for intervals and tempo. Yep, that's my rotation. I got one more shoe to show you in the rotation, but before I do that, I'm going to get into the race shoes, carbon race shoes that I use. Hang on one second. Okay, it's time to talk about my race shoes. So I decided I was going to get back into long distance running, but before I did that, I decided to run. I run one race every year. It's called the OUC Half Marathon. I love that race. It's down here in Orlando. It's got about, I don't know, thousands of people that run it. It's a half marathon around Orlando. It starts at Lake Eola and then goes all the way around. It has cobblestones. A lot of people don't like the cobblestones, but I don't mind it. So I wanted to try a pair of shoes, and I've been watching all these videos, getting up to speed on race shoes, and so I decided I was going to stay with Asics. So what is the best carbon fiber race shoe at that time? It was the Metaspeed Sky Paris. So I bought the Metaspeed Sky Paris specifically to run the OUC Half Marathon. You can see this, 6.4 ounces. I've already shown you this shoe. And you can see how light this shoe is. I mean, you can see my hand through it. Well, maybe not that easy, but you can see my finger. And it's got a really light upper. Not a lot of padding around here. The shoelaces are cool because they're the serrated. I changed all my shoelaces, by the way, to serrated. You might have noticed that. They don't come that way. The tongue is a little bit shy. You really got to kind of work it to get it to fit, and you got to kind of put this, but this is a super light race shoe. So I ran the half marathon in this shoe, and I got to tell you, at mile 9, I'm 70, okay? My legs aren't that strong anymore. I mean, I'm pretty strong. I got pretty strong legs, but I'm 70. So, so I ran it in this, and you got to remember, I'm also a heel striker, and I hadn't learned not to heel strike in these, and you don't really do that in these because they're all over the place. You're like like a race car sliding around on ice or something, But so I ran it, and at mile 9, 10, my knees started to really hurt, And I finished. It wasn't too bad. I mean, I'm not saying I was dying or anything or I injured myself, but it was a little painful, So I decided that these are not marathon or half marathon shoes for somebody like me. They might be for you. You might have strong legs. You might be light as a feather. You might be a front, 4-foot striker and all that kind of stuff. But for me, being a heel striker, I had to consciously land on my midfoot and push off like this. So that's what these are for. And, you know, we already talked about the width. They're really narrow, so you can't come down on your heel in these, or you're going to be all over the place like this, you know. So you got to come down either mid-foot. I come down on these about here, and then I push off. And they're super great. And for 5K shoes, oh my God, these are like gold. I love these shoes for 5Ks. They make me feel like Superman. So that's my 5K shoe. And I don't use them for 10Ks. I'll show you what I use for my 10Ks. Here we go. Okay, they're a little bit bold here. They got the racing stripe, you know, the flames on them, just like the old muscle cars of old. But you know, these are the Alphafly 3s, and I love these shoes. They got this wraparound kind of upper up here. They're very, very light. Let's see, 7 ounces on these. 7-ounce shoes, so they're a little heavier than the Metaspeed, and but they do have a wider heel. You can see it's pretty good size, pretty good size, bigger than the Metaspeed. So these are my 10K shoes. They're not my marathon shoes or my half marathon shoes. They're my 10K shoes, and I love them too. I mean, this little pad in the front, that AirPod, you know, you get a lot of nice bounce on these. So for 10Ks, I use these. They're a little more forgiving for me on the heel. They come off a little bit faster, and I'm not faster than the Metaspeed, but they come off nice and fast. They got a carbon plate in them. The Metaspeed also has a carbon plate. I picked, there's 2 styles to these. There's a Metaspeed, there's one for cadence and one for stride. I'm a cadence runner, but for some reason I bought the stride one, which is fine. It works okay for me. If I buy another one of these, it'll be the cadence one, because my cadence is around 190 when I run 5Ks. So that's what I would use next. But Alphafly 3s, beautiful shoe for 10Ks, 5Ks. A lot of people run marathons. You'll see these in the pros wearing them for marathons and all that stuff. But they got the Zoom X foam and all that kind of stuff. So, but I use them for 10Ks. These are my 10K shoes. Now, what do I use? What do I use for my half marathons and my marathons? Well, I run in the EVO SLs, and these are the Pro 4s, and I love these shoes. The Pro 4s are my favorite long distance shoes, and I'm going to show you how obsessed I am with this shoe. I love this shoe, and you know, people don't give this shoe enough credit. It's a Pro 4, 7 ounces, same weight as the Alphafly 3s, but these are just amazing. I mean, these ones don't have a carbon plate. They got 3 rods in them. You can see the rods right there. You know, and they got a pretty good outsole. Let's see, compared to the Alphafly 3s, they're pretty comparable. You know, I think the Alphafly 3 looks like they're wider, but I find these to be pretty stable for me. They're not the most stable, but they're pretty stable. So that's my half marathon and marathon shoes. Those are my race shoes. I got 2 more segments of this video, and then I'll be done. But let me show you just a second. So I'm going to do this little segment really fast, and it's all about the Pro 4. And I want to tell you how obsessed I am with this. And so don't laugh. But I want to show you how obsessed I am with this particular shoe. You see that T that's written on the back of there? It says T. That means trainer. So when I get close to the marathon, I use these as my long run training shoes. These are my Pro 4s, okay? They're expensive shoes, and I use them for my trainers. Well, these got probably around 300 to 400 kilometers on them, easy. And by the way, they look good. All of my shoes look good. The reason they look good is because I clean them after every single run. Sounds weird, but that's what I do. So here we go. Trainers, big T on the end, okay? Then I have my race shoes. Got an R at the back. Race shoes. This is the ones that I use on my races, or used to use on my races. So then I got to the Boston Marathon, and I said, man, they're kind of white, you know. So then I said, I need shoes for Boston. So I bought the Pro 4s for Boston. And these are the only ones I've ever used. The only time I've ever run in these is one long run training run before Boston, and then the Boston Marathon. So these things got about 40 to 50 kilometers on them. That's it, okay? So you think, okay, that's great. But now we're coming up to the Chicago Marathon. That's October 11th. So I said, man, I need a pair of shoes for Chicago. So I got these. They're orange. I think I got them on sale. But they're Pro 4s. I changed out the shoelaces. Never ran in these. Not yet. They're my Chicago race shoes, believe it or not. And they might not even be that because they're orange. And I don't know what the colors are for Chicago. I heard they're blue. So I may end up with the blue ones. But then I said, you know what? Chicago might be blue. So I bought these. Can you believe it? And I got the tag on them. What am I? Am I out of my mind or what? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pair of Pro 4 race shoes. Okay, I'm a little obsessed. I love those shoes. You'll love them too. By the way, I'm not sponsored or anything. I'm just telling you what I like. That's it. Okay. Okay. One more thing I want to talk to you about before we go on. Okay, I got one last pair of shoes that I want to show you, and this is part of my rotation. Remember, I got the Gel-Nimbus 27s for my easy run Zone 2 short runs. I've got the Novablast 5 for my tempo interval runs, and easy and long if I wanted to, but mostly tempo. I've got the EVO SL tempo interval. Now, I wanted to get one shoe for my long, easy runs, or maybe closer to marathon pace. So what did I pick? These are the Megablast. The Megablast with FF Turbo Plus. When the Megablast first came out, I go, oh God, here we go again. Another blast shoe, you know? Here we go with the Megablast. I got Novablast, Superblast, Sonic Blast, Megablast. I mean, so here we go. So I didn't think much of these shoes when I first got them, but then I started watching the reviews, and the reviews on these started to gel. They started to come around, and I started to warm up a little bit to the shoe, and I've only had it about 2 weeks, so the jury's still out, but I got to tell you something about this shoe. I love this shoe so far. It's about 7 ounces, so it's on the par of EVO SL weight. It's got a nice light upper. I think they got weight off from that. It came with serrated shoelaces. It's got a pretty good tongue on it. If you look at that, that's pretty nice long tongue. It's got a lot of bounce. And this shoe wants to run. So I will stack this up with the EVO SL right now. Okay, but the reason what I'm going to use these for is I'm going to use them for my long runs leading up to marathons. So when I get up into the 10 miles to 22 mile range, I'm going to use these, but I'm also going to use them midweek. So it hasn't really gelled in my mind what I'm actually going to use these for, but I think I'm going to try long runs with them and see how they go. So highly recommended so far. We'll see how they go. I've only got 3 or 4 runs in them, but so far, great first impression. Okay, that's it for my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe to me. I hope you follow on my, I have a Facebook page too. You can follow there. And yeah, subscribe. And have a great day. That's all I can say. Have a great day.